everybody. Welcome to Time to Get Illustrated. My name is Jonathan Funes, and for those of you who don't know me, I've been doing graphic design and illustration for about 4 years now. Unlike some of my counterparts, I didn't go to design school. I got most of my experience through videos like this. So I thought I'd use this platform as a way to give back and to give my own perspective as a person of color in a predominantly white field. Today, I'll be going through a very brief intro to Adobe Illustrator. I'll be walking through the basics and highlighting some of my favorite tools and tools that I think are necessary to get started on the program. This should be useful to anyone who has little to no experience on Illustrator. It can also serve as a refresher to those who are a bit more advanced. I recommend taking notes during the video or pausing the video throughout, just so you can try it yourself. Alright, let's get illustrated. So the first thing to know about working on Illustrator is that it deals directly with vector graphics. This means that anything you make on here is scalable to any size and won't lose any of its quality. You can zoom in as far as you want and there won't be any pixelized edges, compared to programs like Photoshop that utilize rasterized images and graphics that rely on pixels. So Illustrator is a great program to use if you want to design things that will be as small as, say, a business card or as big as a billboard. To start a new document, go to File, New, or Command N on your keyboard. Illustrator comes with many presets that we can choose from, but for this we're just going to use the standard letter preset, which is 8.5 by 11 and landscape. Illustrator also gives us different measurement options for our designs. Additionally, we can choose the color mode. RGB tends to be used for screens, whereas CMYK is used mostly for print. When you open Illustrator for the first time, you'll have this default workspace, but you can also choose from different workspace presets, and as you customize your workspace, you can also create your own preset. Personally, I like starting with the Essentials Classic preset just because it has everything that I need. So looking at our workspace, on the left we see all the tools that we can use to create shapes and text, and on the right we have panels that help alter our shape and text. To edit and explore more tools, you can go to Window, and here you can activate or deactivate different panels. For example, clicking the stroke button will activate the stroke panel, which you can drag freely. You can also drop it wherever there's a blue highlight so that you can customize and personalize your own workspace. The Layers panel might be the most important tool within the Adobe Creative Suite. This is where all of your shapes, text, and different elements live. This means that you have the ability to stack and rearrange your shapes. You can also create a new layer by pressing the plus sign at the bottom. From here, you can rearrange the shapes in layer 2 in relation to layer 1. The first tool we're going to look at is the selection tool, which we can access up here or by pressing V on our keyboard. This tool allows you to click and drag, resize, rearrange, and reshape your objects. To resize your shape proportionally, you can hold Shift on your keyboard and click and drag the handles. Our next tool is the Direct Selection tool, which you can access here or by pressing A on the keyboard. This tool is used for manipulating individual anchor points and handles. Another very powerful tool in Illustrator is the Pen tool, which can be found here or by pressing P on your keyboard. This tool is used for making custom and specific shapes. I use this tool when working on very detailed designs just because it allows for so much control. Use the Brush tool, the Blob tool, or the Pencil tool to create freehand illustrations. The next tool is the Type tool, which can be found here or by pressing T on your keyboard. Holding down on the type icon reveals more options for experimentation with our text. We can write horizontally, vertically, or even on a path. At the top here we have different font options, weight options, size options, and paragraph options. The type panel allows for even more experimentation with your text. It allows you to change the kerning, leading, and a ton of other stuff. The Shape tool is used for creating standard shapes, such as rectangles, circles, and stars. Clicking and dragging while holding Shift creates a perfect square, and the same goes for the ellipses. If you want to combine shapes, there's a couple different ways we can do that. The first being the Shape tool. This tool allows us to click and drag across shapes and combine them really easily. Additionally, you can subtract shapes by holding the Option or Alt key. The second way to combine shapes is with the Pathfinder tool, which we can find up here in the Windows panel. Looking at the icons, we can see that the first button is used to merge shapes. If we want to subtract a shape, we can click the last icon that says Exclude. To change the look of our shape, we can change the color of the stroke and fill down here on the two overlapping boxes, the top being the fill and the bottom being the stroke color. Double-clicking on one of these squares reveals the color picker where we can choose any color we want. The same goes for the stroke color. We can also modify the stroke width up here. If we want the black square to have the same color and stroke as the left one, we can use our eyedropper tool found here or by clicking I on your keyboard to copy the attributes of the left square. Additionally, we also have pre-selected colors up here where we can modify the color of the fill and stroke. Illustrator also comes with pre-selected color libraries where we can browse to choose very specific colors for our designs. We can use the gradient panel to change the color of our shape to a gradient. There are also gradient presets that you can alter even further by double-clicking on the sliders. We can also add a gradient to our stroke by clicking on the stroke button. To switch the color of our fill and stroke, you can click this little arrow here to reverse those colors or by pressing Shift X on your keyboard. This also works for solid colors. We can use the Align panel to vertically and horizontally align our shape across our artboard. To rotate an object on Illustrator, you can either hover over the corners of your shape until the little arrow icon comes out, or you can use your Rotate tool here or by pressing R on your keyboard. The Rotate tool also allows you to change the anchor point of your shape to rotate around that. You can use the Artboard tool here or by pressing Shift O on your keyboard to add artboards to your document or to modify your current artboard. To save your file, you can go up here to File, Save As, and it'll give you a few different options to save your file. The two most common ones being Adobe Illustrator and Adobe PDF. Save it as an Illustrator file to come back to your document and continue editing your design. Save as PDF if you're planning to send to print or if you're planning to share with other people and don't want any loss in resolution. File Export As will give you even more options to save your file. The most common being PNG and JPEG, which will turn your designs into pixel-based graphics. You can also save your file as a Photoshop document, where you can reopen your design in Photoshop. Again, Photoshop is a pixel-based graphics program, which means that there might be loss in your design quality, but I think Photoshop does a pretty good job of keeping your designs as clear as they look on Illustrator. Resize an object from its center by holding the Alt or Option key and clicking and dragging the handles. Holding the Shift key will also help keep its proportions. Click and drag while holding the Alt or Option key to duplicate that object. Press Command C and Command V to copy and paste an object, Command X to cut an object, and Command F to paste the object where the original shape was. And that's all I have for you guys today. By no means is this an exhaustive list, but I hope it's enough to help you get started. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, leave a comment and I'll try to get back to you. Thanks for watching.